Travel robot presence. Here is the list of top 10 things to do in Washington. Nestled on the United States East Coast, Washington, D.C. is a capital perfect for a first-time visit to the East Coast. Plus, it has a heap of the best places to see in Washington, D.C. that are dotted all across the city. Honestly, Washington, D.C. is home to many amazing sights in history that you really shouldn't miss. From the home of the United States President to delicious food and historic national monuments. It's a place you can easily spend a long weekend, or even longer, exploring. Here is the list of 10 things to do in Washington. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for our future updates. Number 10. United States Capitol. The U.S. Capitol building stands supremely at the eastern end of the mall. And we think it should stand at the top of your itinerary too. The building dates back to 1800 and is the legislative branch of the U.S. federal government. Entry to the visitor center is free, and it's open from Monday to Saturday.
Construction of the Capitol began in 1793. In November 1800, Congress, along with the Library of Congress and the Supreme Court, moved into the newly completed North Wing. The South Wing was completed by 1807. But in 1814, the British burned the Capitol during the War of 1812. What is now the center portion of the Capitol was completed in 1826. As the country expanded, more states came into the Union and more representatives and senators arrived at the Capitol to represent these new states and their constituents. Beginning in the 1850s, the Capitol had to grow to make room for these new representatives and senators. The first major construction project extended both wings and enlarged the Capitol dome. Later, both the west front and the east front of the Capitol were expanded, and in 2008, the U.S. Capitol Visitor Center was completed.
Number 9. The National Mall. This is the beating heart of Washington, D.C., with most of the Smithsonian Institute museums clustered along the mall's 2-mile stretch, not to mention all its monuments and memorials. They're all worth a visit, from the Lincoln Memorial to the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. The mall welcomes around 24 million visitors each year, so you might want to get here early to avoid the crowds. Capitol.
The monuments and memorials in this park honor American forefathers and heroes who paid the ultimate sacrifice in service to this country. From the "I Have a Dream" speech to the AIDS quilt, the mall is the national stage where movements and celebrations take place, where people gather to have their voices heard. But the National Mall is much more than a lesson in history through memorials made of stone. East of the Washington Monument lies world-class museums with something for everyone, including the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture, the newest addition, the mall's impressive lineup of museums. Pause for remembrance and learn about the fragility of freedom at the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. Interpret the meaning of original Da Vinci and Van Gogh works at the National Gallery of Art, or pick your own adventure from the many Smithsonian Institution museums. Wander along the wide, pedestrian-friendly, tree-lined boulevards and take in the history and scenery of America's front yard, or admire the scenery during the comfort of a big bus tour. There's always something to see and do, as the mall plays host to events of all sizes almost every week.
Number 8. Arlington National Cemetery. Arlington houses the graves of servicemen and women from every American conflict, ranging from the American Civil War right through to the present day. 2 must-see sights while you're here. The changing of the guard ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which happens every 30 minutes, and the eternal flame at the grave of John F. Kennedy, where you'll also find the best views of the cemetery. Number 7. Washington National Cathedral, a very unique building in the United States. The Washington National Cathedral is the 6th largest cathedral in the world and offers a dazzling spectacle for any sightseer. Gaze at the breathtaking stained glass windows, take a guided tour, listen to the choristers at Evensong, or just stroll through the gardens. While you're here, we recommend recharging your batteries at Open City, the superb Cathedral Cafe. Number 6. The Kennedy Center. Just a 20-minute walk from the Lincoln Memorial. The John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts is one of the best places in D.C. to catch a show. There are performances on the Millennium Stage every day at 6 p.m., and they're all free. From improv theater to ska bands, who knows what you might see. The building is a sight in itself, and when the sun is shining, why not enjoy some time out in the Cartwright Deco-inspired roof terrace restaurant? Number 5. Go inside the White House. A trip to the nation's capital just wouldn't seem complete without a visit to the White House. With its famous address of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House is the President of the United States' primary living and working space. We can all stand outside the property's gates and marvel at the world's most famous house, but getting inside is a little trickier. For obvious reasons, security here is tight. If you want to be able to go inside the White House and tour it, you have to submit a tour request through your member of Congress. Not from the U.S., not a problem. Simply contact your country's embassy in Washington, D.C. for help with submitting a tour request. It is the place of the best place in Washington, D.C.
Touring the White House requires some advanced planning. Public tour requests must be made through your member of Congress. Find your member of Congress and contact information, and submit it up to 3 months in advance, and no less than 21 days prior to your visit. If you're an international visitor and wish to schedule a tour, please contact your home country's embassy in Washington, D.C. You are encouraged to submit your tour request as early as possible, as tours fill up quickly and a limited number of spaces are available. Tours are filled on a first-come, first-served basis. All White House tours are free. Please note tours are subject to last-minute cancellations based on the official White House schedule. Self-guided tours run from 7:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Tuesday through Thursday, and 7:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, unless otherwise noted. For complete details on White House tours, visit the White House Tours and Events page or call the White House Visitors Office 24-hour information line at 202-456-7041. The White House is located at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest.
Number 4. Visit the U.S. Capitol Building. Home of the U.S. Legislature Building is full of lawmakers and politicians that help decide what goes on in the country, and is one building that visitors can still go into and tour. For tours of the Capitol, you can contact your state senator or representative, if you live in the U.S., who will give you a pass that allows access to the building. Alternatively, if you're visiting from another country, you can purchase tickets for an official tour just outside. I loved it around this area, and it's easily one of the best places to see in Washington, D.C. that's so iconic. You can't read it. Number 3. Step back in time in Alexandria, Virginia. Technically not in Washington, D.C., Alexandria is right across the river, and certainly worth a trip. This beautiful old colonial town is a major part of the D.C. area, allowing visitors to escape the more governmental parts of D.C. and stroll the cozy old streets that line this area. Known for its 18th and 19th century architecture, fabulous restaurants, boutiques, and arts and culture scene, Alexandria is one little spot you should explore. Number 2. Indulge your inner spy at the International Spy Museum. Who hasn't dreamt about being the spy at least once in their life? If you're anything like me, it will have crossed your mind at least once. The museum houses the largest collection of espionage items in the world and offers a uniquely global perspective on the importance and impact of spies. With plenty of exhibitions and interactive displays, and even a lipstick pistol from 1965. Number 1. See the Lincoln Memorial. No trip to D.C. would be complete without a stop next to Abe Lincoln at the Lincoln Memorial. Certainly one of the most iconic memorials in the city, the Lincoln Memorial sits at the west end of the National Mall, just on the edge of the Potomac River. Once you've taken your picture with the seated, marble version of the nation's 16th president, be sure to turn around to take in the gorgeous views of the reflecting pool and the Washington Monument, which is perfect to see around sunset. Looking for a swish place to stay? Make sure you check out the gorgeous DuPont Circle, which has a pretty epic rooftop bar.
The Spy Museum is pleased to introduce plan-ahead pricing, giving you the opportunity to get the best deal on tickets when purchasing in advance. This new structure allows you to plan a visit on the day that best accommodates your budget and schedule. The further in advance you purchase tickets, the more you can save. How does it work? Just visit the Purchase Tickets page on our website, and you'll see all the available dates/times and their color-coded respective ticket prices. Each day's ticket prices are determined based on a number of factors, including day of the week, holidays, local events, and expected attendance. In general, for busier periods with higher estimated attendance, prices will reflect high demand. For quieter attendance days, prices will be lower.
That brings us to the end of this video. If you love similar content like this, take a look at my other videos. And if you like it, please smash the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. If you have further questions, feel free to comment down below. See you in the next video.